Welcome to the Barkada podcast. We're here with Wendy. I don't know what to call you. I've always known you as Wendy Lumsden, but now you're Wendy Tradewell, right?
Yeah.
So what's more appropriate for today?
I don't know.
How about Wendy?
Lumsden at Manila and Tradewell everywhere else.
Okay. Well, we're here with Wendy, episode 15. It's Tuesday, May 11th. We're here at Manila Resto recording this podcast with Wendy here. So welcome.
Thank you.
I know it's been a long time coming. I know I've told you about this idea for quite some time now.
Yeah.
And now we're finally doing it, right?
Yeah.
So why don't we start off by sharing a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I worked here at Manila for 6 years, I think.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously I love it since I'm still here.
Mm-hmm.
I do a lot of advocacy work for cystic fibrosis, which is a disease that I've had since birth. And I also train service dogs in my free time. So I guess that's kind of the quick rundown down about me. So.
Oh, right on. Well, yeah, let's start off by, the first time that we met, you applied here to be a server, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Before you did that, did you come in and enjoy into the whole Manila experience beforehand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we came here all the time for sushi. I think Andy and I actually had our first date here.
Oh, cool.
And
that's what sealed the deal.
Yeah.
If there's someone you like and you want to impress them, bring them to Manila, right?
There's so many first date stories I hear here. It's great.
Yeah. Awesome.
And then I was looking for another job after I graduated college and was still trying to figure out what path I wanted to follow. And it was funny because I didn't apply here for the longest time because I was like, oh, I'm not experienced enough and all this stuff. And I was just like, the food's so good. The service is so good.
Mm-hmm.
And and so then I think one day someone in my apartment complex used to work here and I was talking to her about it. And she was like, yeah, it's great. Like, go ahead and apply. And so I did. And then I got hired right away. And I mean, it's been great ever since. So
yeah. I think that's one of the cool stories. I think you are actually one of the first, you are the first, one of the first. You are the first to, start off, as a server or, bartender, just something like that, and kind of evolve yourself into management position here, So it's cool whenever you're able to get yourself in a position to kind of work your way up. And it's cool because in a sense of just having someone from the inside kind of carry on the things that you've learned through training and all that kind of stuff. And that's some of the things that you've kind of taken over too in terms of, staff development, team development, as we'd like to say, right? Just continuous improvement and making sure that the team gets all the resources that they need to make sure that they are able to excel,
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny looking back thinking I wasn't experienced enough to work here. And then I was like, wait a second. I've been serving and working in restaurants for 10 years at that point. So
yeah, and it's cool too because you approached us, when Jesse was here about doing your internship through the event planning space at Algoma Club, and then all the stuff intertwines with each other, right? So
yeah, for sure.
It was a good experience for all, and we're happy that you're here, and it's pretty cool that that we can share that story.
Yeah.
I'll have to admit, when I first met you and you kind of shared your condition, you're not that type of person to be like, hey, guys, look at me, I have CF, And I've kind of, I guess, fall along the lines where I'm like, okay, well, it's something that, you've been living with and stuff. And I kind of just let people do their own thing. But, the more and more I did some research on it, I'm like, wow, this is pretty serious. Because I in most cases, if you, unless you know someone, right, you don't really take the time to really dive into what is this certain thing all about, so And, you being one of our great, team members and stuff, I did my research and looked into it a little bit more. And I think around that time, too, was around May when you were doing your fundraising for, your cystic fibrosis. Mm-hmm. You want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah. So cystic fibrosis is a genetic disease, which is why I was born with it. It's not something you can get.
Yeah.
It's not contagious.
Uh-huh.
And it primarily affects the lungs and digestive system because your body overproduces mucus and doesn't absorb salt properly. So it's dehydrated mucus on top of it, and it gets stuck everywhere in your body. And you get reoccurring lung infections, digestive issues, and all this fun stuff that comes along with it. So, I mean, for a while there, I was in and out of the hospital, mm-hmm. constantly. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what happens over time, is that the lung infections create scarring and all this stuff. And it's a progressive disease, so it mm-hmm. progresses until you die, mm-hmm. which is kind of morbid, but it's just the reality of, I guess, what it is and what it does to you. But that's kind of, I guess, the real basic definition and kind of the quick thing I tell people when.
Yeah. I guess to kind of date how this all started, back when you were first part of the team or began with us, we had those hours, between, we were open between 11 and 2:30 and then again at 5 to close.
Right.
So that was something that kind of worked into everyone's benefit, really.
Right.
Because you have to do treatments a couple times a day. Is that how it works, or?
It depends.
It depends on how the day is.
I think back then I was still doing 2 a day.
Okay.
Shortly after, it increased to 3 times a day.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, at times there's even 4 times a day where I do it. It just kind of depends on how my breathing is and how sick I am and all that stuff. So
yeah, no, and you're on a new medication now, right?
Yeah.
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 You want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah. They have been, I mean, the whole mission of the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation is to cure cystic fibrosis. And in the last 10-ish, probably less than 10 years actually, they really made a lot of progress in researching gene therapy medications, which are supposed to treat the root cause of CF and therefore alleviate some symptoms.
Sure.
And so I was in the clinical trial for the first medication that came out. I don't remember how long that was. Probably maybe 6 years or so.
Okay.
I think it was around the same time I started here.
Oh, right on. Yeah.
I don't know if you remember all, because I was always driving to Milwaukee for appointments and stuff for that.
Uh-huh.
And so I was on that one for the trial, and then I was on it for a little bit afterwards, but it didn't really do anything for me. Mm-hmm. So we didn't really see the benefit of continuing on to it, because it's kind of just adding a medication for no reason.
Yeah.
And then shortly after that, they came out with a second one that was supposed to be better, mm-hmm. which again did nothing for me. Mm-hmm. And I continued to get sicker. And then November of 2019, Tricafta was released to the public. And not only, so there's a lot of different gene mutations that cause CF. And I have the most common kind, which is what all of these medications were for.
Yeah.
And so Tricafta not only was more helpful for more people, but it opened up for more gene mutation types to be treated. Mm-hmm. And so, it's drastically improved my life. Right before I started it, and I actually was applying for disability because I was so sick I couldn't work anymore. I mean, you know how much trouble I had keeping up with everything. Mm-hmm. And so I was on and off IV antibiotics every other week, it felt like. And my lung function was down to between 35 and 50% and was just getting worse. It was never getting better.
Just I don't know if you have a way of comparing or giving people a comparison as how people would feel, you know,
Yeah.
if it's at that percentage?
The like common way is to breathe through a straw.
Oh, okay.
So I have no way to tell you if that's
Sure.
accurate because
Yeah.
when I breathe through a straw, I can't breathe. But
Yeah. Uh-huh.
yeah, so that's usually the common way. You'll see like
Okay.
straw challenges and all this stuff. So
Okay.
that's the best way I know how.
Gotcha.
And then now I've been very stable at 60%. And
Yeah.
I don't like, I mean, I probably wouldn't have been able to do this podcast before because I'd be coughing the entire time. And now, like, I don't cough anymore, like, barely at all. So, like, not only did my lung function go up a lot, I mean, 10% is quite a lot.
Yeah.
And it's stable. I had the flu over a year ago, but it was after I started Tricafta, and my lung function was still stable. Like that would have landed me in the hospital with like a long recovery before, and I was fine. Like, I just had like a normal person flu, and I didn't have any like crazy repercussions from it or anything like that. So
great.
It's been the weirdest feeling, but like obviously it's awesome, and I'm able to do so much more stuff now, and it's great. So it's just a really, really odd experience to try to explain to people. Like, you grow up your whole life dying and knowing that you're going to die, and then being so close to that point, and then all of a sudden being fine. Like, I didn't set up a retirement. I didn't have so much stuff planned for the future because I didn't plan to have one. Like, I know that sounds morbid, but like, that's just how it is growing up with CF. And so, and I know it's not just me. Like, I talk to other people with CF who have had the same experience, and it's like, it's so jarring to have your life change so drastically almost overnight. And it just like wasn't something that I was expecting to see necessarily in my lifetime.
Yeah.
Even though it was being talked about and researched and all this stuff.
For sure. And I think that's one of the cool things that I think you do. I mean, for one, like, you do create awareness of what CF is.
Yeah.
But I think it's also great that you connect with others that are in the same position, because really, like, I can sit here and try to say like, oh, like I can relate to what you guys are feeling, but no, I can't, you know. Right. So I would imagine that, you know, you have some younger people that you talk to that look up to you, you know, for advice, and just be like, oh, hey, you know, it's going to be okay. Yeah. Or like, this is, you know, what I would do, like in certain situations and stuff. So that's cool. That's cool to see that, you know, you're doing that for others. Yeah.
I used to write a lot more, and it'd be weird. Like, I just assumed like I was just writing to write and to get my thoughts, you know, processed in my head, and to update family members a little bit. And it would just be weird, like getting random messages from people like, oh my gosh, I read this blog post or this column you wrote, and it helped me so much. And like, and sometimes the people it has nothing to do with CF. It's just life perspective, I guess. Yeah. So I mean, it's cool knowing that like, even if you think your words don't mean anything or no one's seeing them, like people do.
Since I've known you too, you've always had some dogs around you. Here with us today is Felix. He's down there. Yeah. But then, what's his name? Finn, yes. I'm like, I feel so bad I don't remember that right now. I didn't drink my coffee yet. Working on it. Yeah. But, what, can you tell us like a little bit on how like service dogs and stuff like help someone like you with like CF out? Yeah.
So, I mean, I grew up with dogs, so they've always been a part of my life, and I've always loved them. But we got Finn because I wanted a dog, and I hadn't had a dog since I had moved to college, just housing and stuff, you know? Yeah. And so we got him, and that's right around the time that my lung disease started progressing quicker. And I thought back, my parents had, so the whole like revelation story came about is because I was getting admitted to the hospital, and my mom had dropped me off, and I was walking into the hospital, and I got about like 5 feet through the entrance, and I was like, Mom, I can't breathe. I don't know why. Like, I can't walk. And I realized I had my backpack on with like my laptop and my game systems and whatever else I was going to do to occupy myself during my hospital stay.
Yep.
And so we put that on a wheelchair, and then I was able to walk the rest of the way. And I was like, right, because weight, makes it harder. And so while I was in the hospital, it made me think of my parents back in the day when you could bring dogs to the farmer's market. My parents would bring our Newfoundland to the farmer's market. My mom had made these saddlebags for him. Oh. And we would put our things that we were purchasing in the saddlebags. And I was like, oh. And so then I started like thinking more about that. And then I started actually researching online. And so then I was, just researching and figuring out what they could do and how to train them and all this other stuff. And then Finn was getting older, and I was like, this dog is so good. He's so good at learning. He loves to work with me. And so I started working with a trainer to train him. And then, long story short, as he got older and developed more into adulthood, he no longer fit the bill for service work. So I pulled him and I got Felix and like really delved into service dog training after that. And so I mean, he retrieves things for me. Back when I used to cough more, during coughing fits where I was like getting dizzy or unbalanced. Hey
bro, you're right.
Yeah. No, it was something for me to kind of like keep my balance.
Sure.
So I didn't have to like sit down in the middle of an aisle at a store or whatever.
Okay.
And then I could keep going. And then he also does something called forward momentum pull, where he basically helps me propel forwards. Like he gives me that momentum when my lungs aren't powerful enough to, or like it exhausts me to put forth that effort myself.
Yeah.
And then I also have to take medication when I eat, which I never in my life have been good at remembering. I don't know why. I've tried all the tricks. I've worked with my dietitian. I've worked with my doctors. I've worked with my parents. Like I just cannot remember. Yeah. I always joke that I get too excited about food, and so then that's all I think about. But if I don't take them, then I have a lot of digestive upset, and I don't digest the fats and proteins because that's part of CF. And so he reminds me to take those.
Sure.
And
it's pretty remarkable what they're able to do, with some training and stuff, so.
And there's other things down the line if I would need them that he could help with. Like I'm at a very high risk of getting diabetes because of the pancreatic insufficiency, and it runs in my family. Oh. So I've got double whammy there.
So you could end up with type 2? Obviously. What is it?
It's CF-related diabetes. It's kind of like a mix between type 1 and type 2.
Okay.
I don't know much more about it than that, aside from it's because like it doesn't always have to do with what you eat. Sometimes your pancreas just doesn't kick in, so then your blood sugar goes high, and then it's like, oh no, I was supposed to do something, and then it just like shoots insulin out, and then you go low because it was too much and you had already eaten. Yeah. So I know that's part of it. But aside from that, I don't know a lot more detail because I don't actually have it.
So when you said that Finn was kind of got into more of a retirement.
Yeah.
Is there
which he takes very seriously.
Is there an age where, Felix is going to get to that point too, or?
Yeah, I mean, dogs are really good about telling you whether they want to work or not, which is how I decided to end up retiring Finn so early, is because he was telling me he didn't want to work anymore and be a service dog.
What? You can take care of yourself now. You're good.
No, I mean, it's a very stressful job. And there's a reason a lot of service dogs, or a lot of dogs, don't make it as service dogs. It's because it's a very stressful job. They have to go into so many different environments and, so many different things happening to them around them. Yep. And he just wasn't confident enough and didn't have the desire to do so. Sure. And so it's not fair to make them do that job when they don't want to. Yeah. And, so that's kind of, I guess, some of how it goes. And then, once they get older, they start developing health issues and whatever, which it's not fair to have them work when they themselves are not feeling well. So it kind of depends. Like, there's so many different reasons that a dog will retire, but those are kind of, I guess, the big main ones is either they don't want to anymore or some sort of health issue crops up as they get older.
Yeah. So is it common for, I know you love dogs, for them to just keep their previous service dog and then get a new one? Or are there times where they're like, well, we can only handle one dog, and then they'll just find a new home for them?
Yeah, that, again, varies greatly depending on everyone's situation.
Yeah.
I know you'll always have first choice to keep your dog. And like you said, some people don't because they can't care for 2 dogs at once. It kind of just depends on your disability, your living situation. A lot of that stuff, it really varies so much. I know for myself, I have the capacity to care for him if he were to retire, and then I would need another dog.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of guide dogs who don't live with their person after they retire simply because it's difficult to take care of 2 dogs. There's also a bonding issue to think about. If you're already bonded to your dog you've been working with for 8 or whatever years, like, that's hard to then bond with a new dog on top of it when you already have that other bond. And then also, is that good for the dog's mental health because you're no longer taking them everywhere and doing everything with them, and now they could be jealous of this new puppy. Like, it just depends so much. So many factors.
Yep. My buddy Leonard, shout out Leonard. He's an officer with a canine unit.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So, and he's told me stories where, he's got his canine dog, for work, not allowed to interact with any other dogs.
Yeah.
That's obviously a different line, but again, in the service field, right?
Yeah.
And just to kind of put things in perspective, like, so I know it can be difficult because when you see, a magnificent dog, like Felix walking around, and he's black, and what is his harness? Is it black also?
Yeah, it's black with a little bit of purple.
But it does say service dog on it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know I've been around you enough to see people like, oh, can I pet? And, so, but yeah.
Yeah,
I think people are still respectful, and they'd still do ask you, like, but it's still like that initial thing, like, oh, puppy, type of thing.
Even
whatever.
Myself as a service dog handler, sometimes it's hard for me to ignore dogs because they're just so cute. But
Yep.
I know better, so I don't. But
yeah. So let's get into a little bit more of what you do. Like, around this time during May, like, you typically do have a CF walk.
Yep.
And that kind of rotates between cities, right? Oh, no, it's everywhere.
No,
they have them in different pockets and stuff.
Yeah, I've just been to multiple because a couple years ago, I was the Wisconsin state ambassador. So I went and talked at a couple different walks and kind of told my story and,
And this year it's
people
virtual,
emotionally
right?
involved.
It's virtual this year?
Yeah. That was last year and then this year also because, of course, it's outdoors, but they're going to be abundantly safe because people with CF are high risk when it comes to respiratory viruses and all that.
Yeah. So how can people that are listening or watching, contribute to your fundraiser?
Yeah. So I have my own personal fundraiser through Great Strides. So there's a link you can follow.
Okay.
That you can go donate to if you want to donate specifically to me. Otherwise, if you know someone who's doing a fundraiser,
you should donate, specifically through Wendy.
Yeah. Yeah. It all goes to the same place in the end. And if you can't find anything, you can always just donate straight to the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. That's where it all ends up in the end.
But donate through Wendy.
Yeah, but donate through me.
Are you participating in it this year, or what's the plan?
Yeah. I already started my fundraiser on Facebook because now you didn't used to be able to do this, but now technology is so fancy.
Yeah.
You can actually start a fundraiser specifically for you like through your team and your fundraiser.
Okay.
So I started that, and then we are planning to do a bake sale again, which we used to do annually before last year.
Yep.
And so people donate baked goods, and then we usually we're like, hey, just give us what you want to.
Yeah.
Take some baked goods.
Are you going to do that again this year?
Yeah, we're actually going to do it on the patio.
Okay,
at
once
Manila.
we get that going.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So we used to do it on Free Comic Book Day because it was great because the comic book store across the street, and then people would come over and yeah. And that's always worked out well. Obviously, things are a little bit weird this year, but we're still going to do the bake sale, so that's good. I know the virtual walk's technically May like 15th or 17th or something, so it'll probably be after that, but the fundraising kind of goes until the next one starts over. So you really are fundraising year round.
Yeah. So is May like designated like CF Awareness Month?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. There always seems to be something, but that's good to know.
Yeah.
That, when May comes around.
I feel like it's a lot of the like purple ribbon diseases, like
sure.
Like I don't know any other ones, but maybe lupus. I know there's other ones happening this month, but
no, like we're super glad to have you back. I know last Friday, that was your first major day back, right?
Yeah.
And I felt like I was saying welcome back to lots of people. Like you were one.
Yeah.
John Harmon.
Yeah.
Traff.
Yep.
John Gibson.
Yeah.
Just a lot of people.
Yeah.
Welcome back. Giving hugs and all this kind of stuff.
I know. It's
we're getting
kind
there.
of weird, but not at the same time.
Yep. Like we're not out of the woods yet, but we're getting there. It's starting to see some signs of improvement and stuff.
Yeah.
So
it was funny. Some of the servers were like, "Is it weird to be back? Is it weird to be by people?" And I'm like, "No." Like I feel like I've developed this weird skill with CF to just like drop things and then pick them up right where I left off because that happens so much.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, nah, I just like dropped it for like a year and now I'm just back. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was like remembering stuff that I don't know, like codes to certain things.
It's just like riding a bike, right?
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's, I mean, just to go to the sign of the times, like you were working remotely for,
a little over a year.
A year, but thankfully there was a lot of things that you could have done that you did do for us, while you were at home. Mm-hmm. And, everything's evolved so much. Like we just had our first in-house meeting last Monday.
Yeah.
So well over a year, since we've done anything like that. But other than that meeting, like we've been doing Zooms.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool, to have that technology. Like we'll still utilize that, if we don't see the need to be in person. But there's something to be said about just being in person, right?
It's definitely different. Yeah.
Yep. But you obviously you survived.
Yes, I did.
The isolation at home.
Yeah.
Because of being higher risk and stuff. So
yeah, it's funny. I feel like I've trained for this my whole life because I'm so used to being at home from like being on treatment and whatever, and like people with CF have always had to wear masks and socially distance between each other because the bacteria in our lungs are contagious to each other. So like, I don't know, it's just normal. And now like everyone else has to do it too.
Yeah, that reminds me of the movie, the one I was talking to you about.
6 Feet Apart, probably.
6 Feet Apart.
Yeah.
That was well before. I saw that maybe, 6 months, maybe a year, even before the pandemic hit, know. And I remember like talking to you immediately after I watched it, and I'm like, wow, this is like, how accurate is this movie,
Yeah, and it's actually like they did a lot of research into that and like talking with actual people with CF.
Yeah.
About what they go through. I mean, it was definitely like...
It's a Hollywood flick.
It was an extreme side of like all those people were end stage. Like there's a lot of people living who are not end stage. But I mean, and then it was really funny because of the like very obvious product placement stuff, which made me laugh. The general public would not have noticed, but it was just funny because like their enzymes they took, they didn't call them enzymes, they called them by the brand name. And then like the vest that they used in the hospital was sponsored by like a portable vest, and like, that's not what you use in the hospital. So
right on.
Those little like small details were funny to me, but I mean, the general everything of it was accurate. So.
Yeah, I think that was the moment that kind of taught me, or it stuck into my head about the whole socially distant thing.
Yeah.
And isn't it more accurate to be 8 feet apart, or is it 10 feet apart to be like completely? I remember talking to Steph.
Always just been told 6 feet for
Yeah.
CF stuff, but
Oh, sure.
yeah.
I remember talking to Stephanie, my sister-in-law.
Yeah.
She said it's actually supposed to be like 8 or 10 feet, but no one's ever going to do that.
Yeah, I think
So
there's
they're
a lot of
what can we get away with here?
compromise almost.
6 feet.
Yeah. I don't know. That's what I've always been told. So
Yeah.
ever since those precautions came out, I mean, it's been almost my whole life. That it's funny. They used to have like CF camps and stuff.
Okay.
Like probably not even maybe like 30 years ago, something like that. And I know like when I was very young, like, I don't know, like 2 or something, there were no recommendations on like, you have to distance from other CF patients. And then through research that comes out because of funding.
Yep.
They
Man, that's gonna be
figured
so
out
difficult. Like when you're that age,
Yeah.
just to be like,
I mean, there's a lot
well,
of
that's
like,
my friend. Why
Yeah.
can't I go give her a hug or him a hug? So
and it's funny when you look, a lot of the like younger, probably around my age and younger, are like really good about socially distancing from other CF patients. And then everyone, 30 and older, they have a hard time with it because they grew up being able to do that. And now they just,
yeah.
I mean, it's the only people who can relate to what you're going through. So yeah, it's interesting, I guess.
Yeah. Well, we're glad you're here. Thanks for everything that you've done.
Yeah.
Thanks for riding out the COVID storm. I mean, it's not over yet, but
Right. Yeah.
we're riding
getting
through,
there. Yeah.
riding through that storm, So
Yeah.
we're
Good
gonna
to be
wrap.
able to start like venturing out again now that I'm vaccinated.
Yeah, I know, right?
So
Time
weird,
to
but
go bar
good.
hopping again.
Well, maybe not quite that far. Not yet.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, so let's wrap this segment up here quickly.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
we'll share the link and everything where you guys can donate for towards a cause for CF through Great Strides, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Great Strides is the CF Walk, the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation is like the foundation that puts it on.
Gotcha. Yeah, we'll share the link on our page and everything like that, so everyone can just, that's where I need to go. So we'll get into a little bit of Osh talk here, and then we'll wrap things up on the third segment with the Manila Beat. So we'll catch you guys in here in just a moment after we show you the monthly specials for May.
Hi, it's Sarah with Manila, and I'm here to tell you about our monthly specials for May. First, we have our drink special, the Pina Mojito. The Pina Mojito features muddled mint, rum, peach pucker, lime juice, triple sec, seltzer, and you guessed it, pineapple juice. Kick back and relax with our Pina Mojito the next time you visit us at Manila Resto. Our sushi special is the Flores de Mayo. Sabrina put together this beautiful 12-piece roll that features freshly diced salmon, green onions, cream cheese, and crab stick on the inside with the rice rolled outside. The roll is then decorated and topped with sriracha and spicy mayo. Celebrate the month of May with our Flores de Mayo. Our Filipino special is Drunken Squid. Chef Neenah put together this Filipino special that features squid, banana ketchup, garlic, Maggi sauce, tomato sauce, red and green bell peppers, celery, diced onion, sliced ginger, butter, black pepper, onion powder, salt, oyster sauce, carrots, and rum. The dish is then prepared in a wok and served on a sizzling platter for you to enjoy. Come in and get this dish while it's hot. We'll see you at Manila Resto. Mabuhay!
All right, we're back for Osh Talk on the Barkada podcast with Wendy.
Yeah.
What's up? I didn't think I'd ask you that. What's up? How you doing?
What's up?
Let's get into what made you decide to kind of invest yourself here in the community. I mean, obviously you have the you and Andy both, had the opportunity to move elsewhere.
Right.
And, all things considered, with your primary care being down in Freighter, down in Milwaukee, like, I maybe thought maybe you would want to venture down there a little bit, and your family's kind of close to there. But yeah, you can tell your story.
Yeah, well, I came here for college.
Yep.
I went to school for music business because that's originally what I wanted to do.
Yep.
And after college is kind of when I started to get sick, like I said. And so I guess kind of like my health sort of changed my career trajectory. And, you know, I started working here, and then I started seeing opportunities open up here and pursued them. And, you know, realized like I've always loved working in restaurants. We have a lot of music here. We have the Algoma Club. And so like I felt like I got all of my interests and career options. And yeah, basically. No, and then like a really, really important piece of it was just like how flexible and awesome of a boss you have been to me, especially like when I've been sick. Like a lot of people wouldn't be able to work because employers don't accommodate stuff like that. They don't accommodate, you know, oh, sorry, Marlo, I have to be off once every other week to go down to the doctor, or sorry, Marlo, I know this is like literally last minute, but I have to be in the hospital for 2 weeks. Like that doesn't fly at most places. And like for good reason, like, I mean, work needs to be done, but I just feel like everyone here was so overly willing to help out and cover those times and pieces. And so like, not only for like my family and, you know, helping provide for part of our income, but also like, I am just not a personality who can sit still. I like am always doing something and working and pursuing something. And like, I didn't want my health to get in the way with that if it didn't have to kind of thing. And so that was honestly probably one of the biggest reasons that we stayed in the area, was because of that. But also like my sister lives here and she helps out like so much with my healthcare.
And then your two nieces are here too.
Yeah. And now I have two nieces. And so like, I don't know, there's just been a lot of like, if things didn't happen in the timing that they happened, then something else could have happened. But just, I guess the way that everything played out, and I mean, the support that I had been shown here really made it a good place to stay. And I mean, now
I think it's great too, just because like with the new medication that you've been taking, like like you just mentioned, like there are times where you had to be gone for 2 weeks, you know, to rest yourself and get your lung function back up and everything. I think that's a cool thing to see as, you know, time evolved, you know, just that with your health also, like just getting better. Yeah. And I hope that more people that, you know, share that same condition and stuff are experiencing the same kind of gains that you've been doing, you know, so it's been quite a difference, you know, but I think the cool thing that we've been working on and we've really made happen is that, you know, we found ways for you to still contribute even in the times where you had to be away. Right. You know? So, I mean, there's a lot more the things that go into restaurant life, you know, other than just, you know, the food service, making the food and all that kind of stuff. Like there's a lot of behind the scenes things that take place, and, you know, with our positions and stuff, we have to do a lot of everything really, you know, so.
It's part of being a small business. You wear a lot of hats.
Yep. But, you know, I'm thankful with the team that we have, you know, with you, Queen Neenah, Sarah now, you know, with her recent promotion and everything. So and we have a good, solid core of people that are here. Like, I think you're a big, you know, part of that too, with, you know, the training and development and stuff that we've, you know, developed. So kudos to you. Thank you for all that hard work and stuff you've been doing. And I'm really glad too that I'm going to toot my own horn here for a second. Where I was like, you know, why are you renting? You know, like, you know, you want to be here and you're not leaving. Because I don't want you to leave, for one. So, like, just find a house, you know? You know, and if you decide to move, then your house will gain some value and you got some money put away there, and then you can use that to go towards, you know, your next home or whatever, you know? So, but now we're country neighbors, if you call it that. Like, we're then a country mile of each other.
Hey, if you're within a mile, you're neighbors.
Yeah. But so it's convenient if we ever have to leave town to go on a meeting or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
I'll pick you up or you pick me up. And
Yeah.
So.
Or even over the last year, I know you like drop things off at my house and pick things up for me and whatever.
Yep.
So that was, really nice and convenient.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, amongst other things, during the pandemic, I think that 2020 was the year that you really took off, like your homegrown business too, right? Like, or can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah.
What's the name of it again?
Harmony and Hounds.
Okay.
That
stems off the whole, like your whole love for service dogs and just dogs in general, right? So
Yeah. I had always been interested in training dogs, and I mean, through Felix and all of the, shadowing a trainer and all this other stuff, I was like, I love knowing more about this and love doing it. But I never saw myself being a dog trainer because of my physical inabilities and limitations. But then when I started the medication, well, all of a sudden, like, I can actually walk dogs consistently. I mean, I'm not like 100% by any means, but like I am well enough to help other people and actually train dogs and not be like putting a detriment on my health at all, because that was part of, getting him trained too, is like I would exhaust myself and make myself sick, but it was something that I knew would help me in the long term. So doing it once was different than signing up to do it repetitively. And so I reached out to a friend of mine who has a master's in nonprofit. It's actually one of the people that I was in saxophone studio with at college. It's his wife. And we had talked about stuff in the past, but nothing really latched on because of I didn't know how my health was doing and whatever. But now that I'm stable and I can actually do more things, I kind of wanted to, I guess, use all of the experience that I had to then help other people who had, I guess, helped me. So kind of that round circle community thing. Like,
what
I'm just
better
like,
way to do it? You're
yeah.
taking what you've learned and sharing it with everyone else. So that's
and
awesome.
I feel like the pandemic was a good time, an excuse to do it, because we had the time to do it. I guess there was no rush on getting everything put together now, because we weren't, there's a lot of things, like we still can't open up the therapy dog section because we still can't go to places that they're not allowing therapy dogs in a lot of places still, because that's an extra risk, because obviously the handler has to come with. So it's been nice, like just having that time to make sure that it's done well before the pressure of releasing things open to the public. And there's a lot of need for well-trained service dogs, and also affordable and accessible. Because a lot of people who are disabled either don't have income, don't have a lot of income, but need help. And then you get a lot of people who are trying to train their dogs on their own, and they're not trained well enough. And then that becomes a risk for the public, for other service dogs working. So, I think just being a part, or I guess observing the service dog community, just knowing that was a big piece that needed to be fit.
So how does that work? So like, hey, I need a service dog for, this condition or whatever. Do they tell you in advance, and be like, okay, this dog needs to be trained specifically for a CF patient?
So we have 3 different types of programs. So we have our owner trainer program, which is where people sign up. And you have to apply for all of these things and go through an application process.
That guy has his Filipino AC going on.
Oh, nice.
Sorry.
That's okay. Easily distracted. So they'll apply, and we have to make sure that they are disabled, that and that goes through a process, and you have to make sure that they are up to training a dog because it takes a lot of time, energy, consistency, and all that stuff. And then some other, information to help us just verify that they actually have a medical need for a service dog. And then there's courses that you do online that kind of guides you through, like, here's how to socialize your puppy. Here's how to deal with normal puppy problems like potty training and teething and all that stuff. And then basic obedience, all the way up through public access work, task work. And there's only specific tasks that we train because you want to make sure you have experience training those tasks before teaching them to someone else. And we also make sure that they're tasks that I know how to train, not, things that I don't. And so that, and then they meet in private lessons on, we use Google Meet, but, virtual.
Virtually, yeah.
Unless they're actually based in Oshkosh or area and are willing to drive here. But we do service like the whole United States. Then there's the hybrid program, which is a mix between, or I guess I'll talk about the program dogs next. So program dogs would be dogs that we get from a breeder. We usually try to get them donated since we are a nonprofit. And then they will start their foundational training with me, and then they would go to a puppy raiser because they have to mature, be adults enough to handle a job. No child labor here. And then they would go through testing to make sure that they are a good fit for the handler, that they are a good fit to be in service work in the first place. And that all happens, it usually takes about 2 years, give or take some, just depending on the dog and the training and all that stuff. And then we also have the hybrid program, which is what our last dog was, or is. I guess he's still in the middle of it. But they stay with us for 6 months and learn a lot of foundational stuff, potty training, but basic obedience, all that stuff. All the stuff that really has to be done when they're younger in order for them to have that long-term success. And then they actually do their puppy raising phase with their prospective handler so that they can bond and practice the training. So that's the benefit of that one. And then they come back and finish their advanced training, public access, and whatever task work they have left to learn.
So have you graduated anybody out of your thing yet?
Not yet.
Not yet.
We're only a year old. So, and it takes, if you start a puppy from when you get it, it takes about 2 years. So it'll still be another probably year until.
So you have one dog with you right now that's in training?
He just moved to his puppy raising phase. So he's no longer at my house.
But he was around for a little while, right?
Yeah, he actually ended up staying with us for 7 months.
Okay.
So it's not like a hard, fast timeline. It really depends on
progression.
The dog. Yeah, it really depends on where they're at in their training.
Well, that's cool. I love seeing and hearing people like following their passions and just really diving into it. And especially for, the type of work that you've been putting together, like you're doing it to help others, and you've realized, how much a big help and benefit like these guys have been for you. And you can see what they can do for others, so that's awesome. Yeah.
There's definitely a lot of stuff that I couldn't do without him. So
website is
harmonyandhounds.org.
And then you're on Facebook, Instagram, and all that kind of fun stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there is there a number listed on there too if they need to call and talk or have any questions?
There's a number, email.
Okay.
Yep.
Did you set up another number for that, or is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
You like doing that? Having multiple Google numbers.
I like my privacy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially like when I'm doing so many things, I need to be able to shut off.
I know.
At the end of the day.
Like I used to joke around with people having more than one phone. I only have one phone.
Yeah.
But I can see the reasons why people will have multiple phones.
Yeah.
I've only seen people with 2.
I feel like that's kind of an older thing because now there's like apps you can go through. So like if I were to have different phones for different numbers I have, then I probably have like 3 phones.
Sure.
So but they're all in apps. So
to kind of tell a little bit of story about my cousins and people in the Philippines.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just my cousins. I don't know. But they would have a set of 2 phones too.
Okay, yeah.
Because
My dad used to have 2 phones. Yeah.
Because they would have 2 major networks.
Oh,
and
okay.
The way that the pricing worked back then was like, if you called from globe to globe, it would be free.
Oh, okay.
But if you called from a globe to a smartphone, then you had to pay.
Oh.
So then you would have a smart number or smartphone, and then a globe phone.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
So like, okay, call me on my smartphone, which is, you know, but they had it all figured out. But it was just kind of funny that they're just like.
Probably haven't seen the Gilmore Girls reboot, but.
Oh no, I haven't seen it since you know, ever. No, sorry.
Rory comes back to like Stars Hollow. She's like, she has these different phones based on like which phones get reception where.
Oh,
she's like
right on.
traveling so much.
Yeah, right. It's crazy. But you know, to think of it, like here, like how many major, you know, networks there are and stuff, you know. But yeah, I have AT&T. They've been all right. I don't know what you guys have over by you.
We have Google Fi.
Google Fi,
which is great unless you have an iPhone. Like,
okay.
So I don't actually get reception in my house. But
Sure. The Google Apple wars or whatever.
yeah, they need to end.
They could just be like, hey, you know, we can make it work, but we won't. Maybe. I don't know.
And like,
That's a whole nother
I mean,
discussion.
iPhone people are iPhone people. Like,
Yeah.
not allowing them to have your network isn't going to make them buy a Google
I
phone.
know.
It's going to make them not buy your service.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the one thing too that kind of, well, the one thing I really love about the iPhones, this is a whole nother topic, but the whole iMessaging thing, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And, you know,
Which is
that's
why I can still text you at home. Like,
Yep. And that's
I had to separately download WhatsApp to
Oh,
talk
yeah.
to like Andy and Allison and like people
Yep.
who don't have iMessaging.
Yep. And I think that's the one big power play that, you know, Apple has.
Yeah.
Is, I mean, they could easily release an app too, you know,
Right,
to be
yeah.
cross-platforms. But I believe that they would truly lose out on lots of people
Yeah.
for devices. Anywho.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Harmony and Hounds, find them online.
Yeah.
Google search them, Facebook, Instagram.
Yep. Yep.
It's really cool. So if you need a dog,
Yeah.
service
I'm
dog,
excited. And then
talk to Wendy.
down the line, we're hoping to have music therapy, but
Yeah, that's really cool.
again, it's something we're just taking our time, making sure it's done well and right,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah,
someday we'll be full blown.
another Oshkosh grown
Yeah.
idea concept business. You know,
Yeah,
so
for sure.
kudos to you. Let's see what's up on visitoshkosh.com. This weekend, there's a band called Reload over at Omaro's Public House. I haven't been to Omaro's in forever. Should go.
I haven't either.
Yeah, should go drop by there and see what's up sometime. Looks like at the Grand Opera House, we should be ready for this.
Sinatra.
It's the 15th, this Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday.
The Sinatra Experience. Let's do a quick view on it.
That sounds really cool. I love Sinatra.
Looks like showtime is at 7:30 and goes till about 9. You can purchase your tickets over at the Grand Opera House. I don't know what their hours are.
And if you want to eat at Manila before, make sure you make a reservation.
Yeah, let us know you're going.
Especially with our limited seating.
Yep. Let's see. Returning to Oshkosh from Las Vegas, the Sinatra Experience, a brilliant tribute starring Dave Halston. Join us for an evening of music, fun, and zesty lineup of Frank Sinatra's most popular songs. This show is remarkably authentic. Performing with original music arrangements, Halston brings Sinatra sound and swagger to the stage with a swanky Vegas vibe. Sold.
Swanky.
I want to go. Yeah, no, it's fun and it's great.
Really
That's
cool.
another thing too. You know, welcome
Yeah.
back, Grand Opera House.
Yeah.
That they're starting to have shows again. You know,
And I think they're doing like distance
socially
seating and
distanced
stuff.
and stuff.
Yep.
And I think a lot of the things that they've evolved over within the last year, they have that. You know,
Did you see their cool new sign?
Yeah,
That thing's awesome.
The new signs. Donated or sponsored by Festival.
It looks
You know,
really
shout out
cool.
to them.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing that.
Yeah.
And always being a part of community events.
Festival rules.
Yeah, that's awesome. And just like in the balcony areas too, you know, they have.
Okay.
You
I haven't
know,
been inside.
They have cocktail tables and everything. So if you wanted to have drinks throughout the show, like
okay.
you'll have a server and come out.
Oh,
and,
yeah, yeah.
and
Okay,
reload your
yeah.
drinks and stuff. So that's pretty
Yeah,
darn
because
cool.
I think
You know.
we went to a play there like a couple years ago now.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
and I think it was under construction then when they were adding all those cocktail tables in and stuff. So yeah, that'd probably be really cool.
Yeah. Let's see. So yeah, for more information or to buy tickets online, visit grandoshkosh.org, or if I can do the back button, you can call them at 920-424-2350 to find out some more information on the tickets. So yeah, excited to have that
really cool
here in town. Let's see what else is going on.
Got UWOSH. Oshkosh.
Yeah, shout out to
graduation.
all the Titans that'll be graduating this weekend. I stumbled across my diploma randomly over at my parents' house, as they just had it in their mail thing. I never got it out or framed it or anything
That's
like
funny.
that.
Yeah, I haven't framed mine yet either.
Yeah.
Maybe someday. Maybe.
It reminded me of how long I decided to have fun in college.
Yeah.
The year I graduated, I'm like, oh. But
how long did it take you to graduate, Marlo?
Long enough.
Long enough.
Long enough for me. Long enough for me to meet my future wife, Patricia. So
there you go. See, there was benefit to it.
Yeah, everything worked out in the end, and I was still trying to figure my life out. So, but
that's okay.
Yeah,
Andy did the same thing. That's another reason we stayed.
Were you a spring commencement?
I think so. Mine was kind of weird. I didn't actually go to commencement.
Okay, gotcha.
I went to Allison's, and I was like, this is too boring for me. So I was like, I don't even want to go to my own.
Sure.
I can't sit still for 3 hours.
I was December commencement.
Okay.
And funny story, Patricia was in Ecuador at the time doing her student teaching, teaching abroad.
Okay.
Because she was a Spanish major as well. And she was slated to graduate that coming May.
Okay.
And she's like, you didn't want to wait for me? I'm like, no, I really have to do this for myself. I really need to get out. I really need to make it feel like it's official and have some closure, you know?
Yeah.
I was there a little bit longer, but.
Yeah, mine was just weird because I think we had an unofficial commencement. Andy gave our commencement.
Okay.
We did it in the backyard at my sister's house. And I was taking a semester off because I was taking care of my health. Mm-hmm. And that's when I started here in that semester in between when I finished classes and when I had to do my internship. Mm-hmm. And all of my friends who were like in my grade were graduating that year. And I was like, well, technically I'm done with my classes. So we just had like maybe five of my friends, like people who were in music classes with me and stuff like that. So Andy gave us this little like commencement, which is really funny. I should dig up the video so you can watch it sometime. He's hilarious.
Oh, you should. I'd love to see that.
So we had like this unofficial ceremony in our backyard because I was like, well, if I wait until I'm actually done with my internship, I haven't even been into the campus in a year. Like, who am I going to know really? And then I'm just going to sit there bored for 3 hours. So I was just like, whatever. I don't care enough to
nice
to do it. So
let's see. Bare to Bones and back. Gravel bike ride from Bare Bones, Menasha to Bare Bones, Oshkosh and back. That's right. I forgot. They just recently opened up a tap or sample room in Menasha. Oh. So that would make sense that it's going from Oshkosh to Menasha.
That's so long.
So come join us for a Sunday Fun Day brewery tour.
It baffles my mind how... a little over 40 miles, and that's probably not even much for a biker.
No, that's not terrible.
It's
really long, but not. Yeah. We will be doing a little over 40 miles. The ride will start at Menasha Bare Bones.
Location.
This is kind of spaced out weirdly. Hit up the Oshkosh location off the UWOSH for refueling and end up back at Bare Bones, Menasha. Moments of greatness will occur, of course. But we will regroup at highway crossings, and the goal is to stay together and have fun. More details may be announced soon, so stay tuned.
I like the way they worded that.
Yeah. Speaking of bike rides, I missed the first slow roll, and I'm bummed that I did.
My mask. Courtesy of Finn, no doubt.
But those are coming up now, and they're back, and it looks like the numbers were awesome. So on their Facebook page, it said they had 125 people attend.
Nice.
And that's not bad for the first one.
Yeah.
Yep. Trying to look and see when the next one is. Oh, Wednesday, June 9th. and that's going to be Brews on the Bay. So that's a new thing that they're doing at Menominee Park. So that'll be, it sounds like that's the first one. So that'll be a great little kickoff to tying everything
It's a
together.
nice park, too.
Yep. Let's see what they say. This is going to be great. It's a bonus Wednesday ride with a great partner event. New this year from your Oshkosh Parks department, Brews on the Bay, a traditional beer garden in the 8th wonder of the world, your Menominee Park, with live music and now with 100% more bikes. That's you. So they ask you to arrive probably where all the bikes are going to be at 5:30 p.m. and then the slow roll will be at 6:30. And then you guys will cruise around through some neighborhoods around there on the east side, I'm guessing, and then make your way back to Menominee Park, where all the beer and music are going to take place. So that's cool. That's another great way to bring people down to Menominee, because we need more of that. And hopefully the lake flies are gone by then. So
They've been less.
yeah, not bad this year.
Yeah.
So I actually don't mind like this kind of cooler temperatures, but it's going to get warmer here soon.
Yeah. I just want the ticks to go away.
I know. They're so bad.
They're so bad.
Then always on Sundays, the Jazz Orgy over at Fletch's.
Oh, yeah.
They've been doing that for a while now, so that's cool to see.
Yeah, they've been at Fletch's for a couple of years now.
Yep. Right on. Well, we're going to wrap things up here for Osh Talk, and then we'll wrap things up for the podcast with Manila Beat.
Sweet.
So we'll talk a little bit more about Manila, all things Manila, right?
We do love Manila.
Yeah. Right on. We'll catch you guys in a second. Manila Resto now has delivery exclusively through manilaresto.com. Visit us on our website to place an order or give us a call at 920-230-1082 to place an order for curbside, pickup, or delivery. Place an order anytime between 11 a.m. and 8 p.m., Tuesday through Saturday, and let us bring your Manila Resto favorites to you. Mabuhay! All right, we're back here with Wendy on episode 15 on the Barkada podcast. Man, I got to say that better.
Say it 10 times fast.
I will not do that right now. The Barkada podcast. I thought a good thing for us to kind of talk about is just, your experience working here at Manila. What do you enjoy most about it?
Oh my gosh. So many things.
So many things.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the biggest benefit and joy has come from just like working with the team and with you and feeling like I have a home here kind of thing. I know it's kind of weird to say about work, but
Yeah.
Andy probably feels that way sometimes too. Just sometimes, Andy, I'm leaving now.
Yeah.
I'll just like get caught up
Yeah.
at the bar, like talking to people and whatever. And he's like,
Yeah.
thought you were leaving.
Yeah, I know. Patty's the same way too, where I'm like sending some stuff out,
We're all
so
just like addicted to staying here.
you can come and drop in really
Hey.
quickly. Yeah. Thanks, Paul.
Got about 10 feet right away, but.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We have Camille here from Venture, Wisconsin. Wait, say hi.
Oh, hello, everybody. I didn't know if they could see me or just hear me.
Yeah.
I'm just going to sit over here.
Yeah. Thank you.
Let me know whenever you need more.
Yeah, for sure.
You can have an unlimited supply.
Right on. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks. Camille, she's working with Venture, Wisconsin. She just dropped off some
Yeah, they
killer looking
They look
guides.
nice from first glance.
Yeah, let me see if I can grab it here.
Yeah, grab one. What timing?
It's the first one that
First
they've
on the
ever
back.
done. And this is the print edition. Like they released the one online quite a while ago now,
Yeah.
which is was pretty easy to share. But again, like the last episode with Pearson, we were always talking about how cool it is to be able to physically touch something. Like in this day and age, when everything's kind of moving digital.
Yeah.
It's convenient, super convenient, but
Yeah.
nothing beats the physical print of everything. So yeah, check it out. I'll show the link again on our page, but we were able to nab the the front cover
Yeah.
of the guide. And that's our jeepney roll, which was created by Chef Neenah, of course. And yeah, looking forward to diving into that and getting Camille on here sometime so we can talk about her experience with putting that together. That was the very first one. So
Yeah.
but yeah, back to working here at Manila, it's interesting times. And we, like everyone else, could use some help, even if it's like, a shift or two a week.
Yeah.
I think when people are thinking about, a restaurant or service industry job, that they may have to, well, maybe certain places, but for here, like even if you wanted to just do like a day or two or like a shift or two, just consistently, and kind of build that into your rotation of work. If you wanted to have a side hustle or just have a little extra spending cash,
Right.
like we're totally flexible with that.
Yeah.
And I think that's one cool thing that we have here in our environment is that we have the capability of doing that. And just as long as like the communication's there between all parties, and that's been a huge key for us, right?
That's one of the things that I tell people all the time. I'm like, I can tell you how awesome it is, but like, no one's going to know that, like, I guess I'm biased, but like, I don't know. I'm always like, I feel like the true color shows because very few people like actually quit here. Like even if they go on to get a full-time job, they're like, put me on call. Like if you need me. And they always do help out. Like, I mean, in the past I've had people who like at other jobs who have been like, I'll stay on call. And then every time you call them, they're like, I can't work. Oh, I have plans. Yeah. But like people actually will help out here. And even if they have plans, sometimes they'll reschedule them or whatever. And I think that says a lot about our work environment.
Yeah, definitely. So if anyone's listening, knows anybody that's looking for a summer job, now that school's going to be wrapping up here in a month for high schoolers, and universities are wrapping up here.
A week?
What did I say?
It's just a week.
Oh, yeah.
For college.
For university students here in town, at least. Yeah. I think there'll be more stumbling in that are coming back home from other places.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, love to have you guys here. Like we said, even if it's just like a day or two, like we're hiring all positions, and we're always hiring. We're always looking for good people. So even if we have what we think is a full staff, like we'll find a way to bring someone in if we think that they're a good fit or good people, really. And another misconception is like you don't have to have any experience. Right. I stand by like all of our training programs and stuff that we have, and the people that are putting them in.
So do I, of course.
Yeah, with Wendy and Sarah, and of course Chef Neenah in the back and stuff. So there's a lot of cool things and opportunities for people to do. And then somehow, like if you end up in like Wendy or Sarah's shoes and want to take on a little bit more responsibility after being here, like that's definitely a possibility too. Yep. The second time I'm going to be mentioning Rochelle and Zia. Yeah. They sent out a message to me the other day. I don't know if this is public knowledge, but hey, you know what? If you're listening to podcasts, you get some insider knowledge, right? But I got a message in our group chat. I have one between the two of them and myself. Yeah. And they're like, so when are you going to open up your Madison location? So Rochelle said, so Zia and I can help manage it. I was like, well, if you're serious, as soon as we lock down a location, and I feel bad I haven't gotten back to her because after I sent that message, she called me maybe like 5 minutes later.
Oh, dang.
I'm like, I'm busy. We're busy. That was during a Star Wars Saturday here downtown, so we were like super busy. And I'm like, hey, I got to call you back or get something set up. And then, of course, Mother's Day weekend, and then life. Sorry.
Whoa, life.
But I could see that being like something super cool. Yeah. Especially with those two. I totally trust them to represent everything that we do here at Manila, and just to think of the opportunities because Madison really isn't that far away, right?
No.
Just really
just under 2 hours.
Yeah, a good easy drive, and I even joked around, but it doesn't have to be a joke. We can be like, hey, we can get a Manila pad down there. Yeah. So like if there are people from Oshkosh, working down there for like a weekend or whatever, we can be like, okay, use this code to get in and make yourself at home, but clean up after yourself.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, in terms of expansions, like we'd obviously love to be where we can. And I think I've shared this before, like, you know, originally, like, getting into the concept of Manila, I wanted to be in a whole bunch of different major pockets, you know, because finding a Filipino restaurant in even bigger cities, like, unless you're on the coasts, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to find, you know? And
Especially in Wisconsin, because
Yeah.
we're still the only restaurant, right? I mean,
Well,
I know there's been like
shout out to Meat
trucks and stuff.
Yeah, shout out to Meat on the Street. They have a location down
Yeah.
in Milwaukee. I believe it's in a co-op space, you know, for their brick and mortar area. But yeah, they are mobile with their food trucks and stuff, and they're cool. They have a different concept, and they bring a lot of cool like fusion items and stuff together.
Yeah.
I want to eat everything that they post. Like they do a great job of, you know, sharing things on social media and making Filipino food look awesome. You know, they're part of the whole Filipino food movement. So, I mean, that could be a whole nother segment that we should do. I think that'd be great to, you know, just sit down and decipher some of the restaurants and stuff that are kind of hitting like the big scenes and kind of get behind like the reasons why they name like their restaurants the names that they are. There's some cool ones that I won't. No spoiler alerts yet, but we'll get to that. I think that'd be a fun one that we can do the next time that you're on.
Yeah.
But yeah, getting back to the whole Manila here in Oshkosh thing, we're getting close. I believe that we're getting very close to kind of just tightening up a few things before we can really feel comfortable about getting into, you know, other markets.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, it's hard to believe that we're in year 9 now.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be
in September.
September it'll be 9
It'll
years.
be 9. Yeah.
But, you know, it's always a work in progress. There are always things that we can continue to improve. But yeah, we're getting there, and I'm excited to see how things will be, especially after we climb out of this storm.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
I know that was one of the things that I was like, ugh, why did our 8-year anniversary have to fall during the pandemic?
Right.
That's a big one for us.
Yeah. Yep. But yeah, if things continue to progress, you know, we'll have a little bit of a different celebration come September. So
yeah,
that'll be great.
Yeah, it will be.
Yeah. So, I mean, we should start doing that now. Start doing some
Planning. Yeah, for sure.
It's May.
4 months. 4 months.
4 months. Yeah. Yeah. It's coming up quickly.
Very quick. Yeah.
I was already looking at our calendar, like, you know, what's going on in our lives. And
yeah. It's packing on real quick.
Everything's really, like you said.
I know. I was like trying to plan something for a weekend, and I'm like, oh, apparently I'm busy every weekend until July. I was like, oh,
yeah.
Didn't quite realize that.
Yep. Now it's starting to feel like a little bit more like what it was before, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think it seemed like everything slowed down quite a bit last summer, and we were just on pause, you know, but.
I know, it felt to me like May 1st.
Yep.
Everything was back pretty much the way it was before, like with my schedule and everything.
Yep.
I mean, the only thing I'm not really doing is just like, you know, free things.
Going to Greene's afterwards.
Yeah. Just those little things here and there.
Speaking of Greene's, did we give a shout out to them?
Not yet.
No. Well, shout out to Greene's on their 9-year anniversary up in Neenah.
Oh, twins.
Yeah. Bobby Greene, you guys are awesome.
Yeah.
And team.
Yep. We frequented the Oshkosh location pre-pandemic.
Yeah, for
quite
sure.
a lot.
Yeah.
It's a nice area, or like a nice space.
Yeah. I mean, they basically brought, you know, their concept down, you know, from Neenah, and it just, that's the one thing
The only thing they're missing is the pizza buffet.
I know, right? Maybe they can get that.
And they keep cutting us off with those dang French fries.
Oh yeah, we get there too late. You know, being in the service industry, that Greene's at the Greene, like we'd always just pop in there afterwards, and what we need to do is we need to cut someone earlier.
Yeah, send them over.
Get the orders in
for us. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Shout out to Dave Richter too. You know, he's a partner there. We just saw him this last weekend on Friday, you know, for First Fridays here, and we had a little bit of a chat. But yeah, it's hard to believe 9 years already.
I know.
And even for us, like, we're getting to that point.
Yeah.
But they have some cool raffles and giveaways, and they always have some fun stuff going on for there. So check them out on Facebook. They got some pictures, throughout the years. Pretty neat. And, yeah.
I actually
join
just
us in
randomly
celebrating our
remembered
friends
a
over there.
memory of Andy and I eating at Manila before I worked here.
Yeah.
And we randomly just came here one night because we used to live across the street, and
Oh,
we'd
yeah.
just walk over and eat here sometimes if we felt
Yeah.
like it.
Nice. Do
And
you remember what you had first time? That should be
I
special,
used
right?
to
Because that was your
always-
first date.
I don't know what Andy got, but I always got the bihon
Oh,
when I
okay.
first started eating
Yeah.
here.
Nice.
I'm like obsessed with the Chinese sausage, so
Yeah.
it helps
Perfect.
me. And then the sushi we would get all
Yeah.
the time too.
So
But one of the times we randomly stopped in, it just happened to be, it might have been the first anniversary or the second,
Oh.
but there was like a lechon here. And
Oh,
like,
yeah,
we were like,
that must have been
what
the
did
first
we
one
walk
then.
into?
Yeah.
Like, this is so
Yeah.
cool.
What's this whole roasted pig
yeah,
doing here?
yeah. We got like free champagne, I think. And
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was cool.
Yeah, we were dropping it all that night.
Yeah. It must have been the first anniversary. So that's how long we've been eating here.
Yeah, awesome. Very cool. So what are your go-tos now? Or what's been your favorites?
For
Manila.
Manila, duh.
Yep.
That's what we're talking about. I've been very into the rabada items with the
Yeah.
teriyaki.
Yeah, that's a
And
great item.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Especially like, because I'm usually now eating like during lunchtime, and it's like,
Yeah,
I don't know,
it's a good amount of
nice
food.
gets me like through the day kind of thing.
And if you wanted to take the rest of it home, it
which
it
I
reheats
often
well.
do. Yeah.
So
Yeah, because it does reheat well. And
yeah.
let's see, what else? I always am up for like nigiri or sashimi
Yeah.
for sure. White tuna and salmon are my favorite
Yeah.
by far.
We need to get mackerel in there,
anything-
right?
Yes.
I think you and I would be the only ones eating it. Maybe we
Nah,
could sustain it.
nah.
Maybe we could
I
support
could
it.
definitely sustain it. Andy would eat it too,
Yeah.
for
Okay.
sure.
Yeah, drop us a
Love
line.
it.
Let us know what kind of other sushi items you want. Like we
Yeah.
had octopus there for a while, but that just wasn't
Pretty
moving.
good. I just had calamari for the first time in
Okay.
a while the other day. 'Cause that's always what people know what calamari is, so they're always like,
Yep.
"Let's get calamari."
Yep.
And I'm like, I like calamari, but like,
Yeah.
that's a lot of calamari.
And then we had the sushi shrimp on there too, but that also
Yeah.
wasn't anything that moved very well. Oh,
know, it was so
disclaimer
delicious.
too: the way that we prepare it, and we've been taught to prepare it because Chef Ray's the bomb and he knows what he's doing. We boil it in ginger,
Yeah.
so that's where that taste comes from. And I think a lot
Which
of
I
people,
love.
when they eat it, they're like, it tastes like soap.
Yeah, that's so weird. but,
Yeah,
like,
I think I don't know if it's everyone or
it's
just
not everyone.
just certain people.
I don't
like-
think it tastes like soap.
Yeah.
I think it tastes like ginger.
Yep. So I mean that's the way that we were taught to prepare it, and we were preparing it like that at the beginning. But in the end, in this market, it just got to be a little much, and we're just
Yeah.
like, okay, we'll shelve it for now. So maybe we'll bring it back, and then like, maybe
Yeah.
properly label it. May taste like soap. No, just kidding. No, it shouldn't
Yeah,
taste like soap.
right. Yeah.
But
Unless you've got that taste bud.
yeah, I mean that just kind of goes to show like how we evolve, and we listen to our guests, and we do what's best to accommodate them, because without our guests we would not be here.
Right.
If we just sat here and just like, oh no, this is what
This is what we
This is
want to
what-
do.
this
This
is what we want.
want to eat.
no, but
Yeah.
it's so good.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
But yeah, fun things. Things as to kind of see that progression like over the years, and
Yeah.
what we've learned, and how we accommodate things. So
Yeah. Well, it's nice to change things up every once in a while too, just to get
yeah,
different flavors in, And
Yeah.
especially for people who eat here regularly.
yeah.
They've eaten through the whole menu a bunch of times. like-
Yeah, that's where I think our monthly specials are
Yeah.
huge. Especially for the people that may just come here, once a month. At least there's something different, for
Andy
them
always.
to. Yeah,
First of the month.
yeah,
What are the specials this month?
yeah. Okay, he should actually stay on top of me and make
Yeah.
sure that I'm
Yeah, he
posting
should.
it right when we need to.
Gee, if only he would listen to me.
Yeah,
I'm always like, just text Marlo.
yeah. Should Andy, you're on notice.
Then he doesn't.
That means you got to listen to this.
Yeah.
You'd be like, hey, we were talking trash about you.
Yeah. Right.
You should really listen to what we were saying. But yeah, big thank you to all of you who have taken time out of your day to listen to us here on the Barkada podcast. Yeah, I just don't. I need to get on the other platforms, because we were just
Yeah,
talking about
yeah.
like I don't I don't blame everyone for not listening because it is easy to get set up. You know, if you find a channel, you can subscribe to it. You get notified and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm going to go home and take care of that stuff right away, I think.
The other big thing is for me when I watch or listen to podcasts is that I can't often watch it on YouTube unless I'm going to watch it because I want to lock my phone screen and put it in my pocket, and I don't
gotcha.
have like I just have free YouTube. So
Yeah.
and it's not something that like I would use enough services to pay for it or anything. So
Yeah.
that's always a big one for me too.
Yeah. Gotcha. Noted.
I'm very much a multitasker.
Get on other platforms. Stat.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, thanks, Wendy.
Yeah.
This is fun.
It was fun.
I feel like we could just sit here and just talk about stuff
I know.
forever, you know?
Especially because
But-
it's been so long.
Yeah. But I'm really looking forward to, kind of digging into some other, Filipino restaurants that are,
Yeah.
here stateside and kind of talking about it a little bit more, So maybe we can figure out a way where we can share our screens, with the whole YouTube world, Facebook world.
Yeah.
So they can see what we're scrolling through. But, we'll pick out some lists. And if you guys have any other Filipino restaurants that you guys have, experienced anywhere in the United States, drop us a line. Let us know what restaurants those are, so we can help spread the word and be a part of the Filipino food movement,
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
yeah.
Such good stuff.
Yeah. Well, thanks again. And we'll catch you
thanks for
again
having me.
soon. Welcome back to
Thank
Manila.
Finally.
We got a really cool episode coming up this Saturday. Papa's joining me.
Oh, that'll
Finally.
be good. That'll
But
be good.
in order for Papa to join me, I had to get a couple other people on. So
Oh my gosh.
you got a couple other special guests to go along with that. So that'll be fun. Yeah.
He'll probably
know.
just end up talking the whole time. He's so funny.
Yeah, it'll be good. I know a lot of people have been asking that for him to get on,
Yeah.
so he can share his story. But
Yeah.
he's got two of his buddies that'll be joining us too. So
Cool.
it'll be a great show. So
Yeah. That would
right
be-
on. Well, thank you everyone again, and we'll catch you guys soon on the next episode of the Barkada podcast. Peace. I'll push that. Use the button.